the stream.
No, it's been fun. Now I'll see you guys on YouTube.
Who's that? Mosef?
It was, yeah.
My guy.
Yeah.
I like Mosef. He's a good guy.
Thanks.
My British brother.
That's right. Been enjoying the snow.
The British brother.
I have a British brother. You're closer to me, Doctor.
I know, that's what I mean.
We're practically around the corner from each other.
Pretty much.
Even if we wanted, we couldn't meet up right now.
I know, I was going to say, it's a bit of a problem at the moment.
Wait, Jed, you're in London as well?
Even if we wanted, we couldn't meet up. I'm just outside.
I know, I was going to say, it's a bit of a problem at the moment.
I could be in London in like 25 minutes.
That's not too bad.
I know, that's pretty close.
Have
you ever watched The Only Way Is Essex?
No.
Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I've heard of it, yeah. But never see the people that's not.
I've seen those people. Put it that way.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Gemma Collins was his next door neighbour. I mean, explain to us.
Not far off, I'm telling you.
Alright, we're live on YouTube.
We are live.
Cool.
Fantastic.
So what do we want to talk about today?
Yeah, cool. So the agenda we got together today, welcome everybody to the Quamfy Roundtable for this week's event. So on the topics list, we got the Interoperability and Scalability event hosted by the UK APPG Parliamentary Group, coordinated by the Big Innovation Centre on the 23rd of Feb, and Dr. Luke Riley will be talking there. Next topic is the Quant and MIT Industry Day for Financial Services, based on that last week, but I thought it's worth bringing up again this week, because obviously it's just around the corner. Quant hiring, if you didn't know already, and a little bit of market talk regarding the Qcoin listing this week, and then we'll end it with Q&A.
Sweet. Sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
Guys, do you recall the last time we had a interaction with the APPG?
I'm trying to think, actually. No, I can't. Remind us.
So I recall there being a time when Gilbert was presenting to Lord Holmes, I think, about DLT. This is way back in 2018.
I remember
there's a rep from Applied Blockchain, and this was when, I think this might have been where Gilbert cemented his position as chair of DLT in healthcare, by the way, which I'm pretty sure he's still representing. So everyone's sleeping on the NHS Overledger integration, which is a nice little surprise we're going to have coming, I think. But yeah, so we've have a rep with them already, and the fact that, as Jeffrey pointed out before, the whole conference basically features interoperability. It's all about that.
Okay, I've put the tweet you're thinking about in chat. This one.
Brilliant. So at the last Quantex, we also had there as well, and some of the NHS were also in attendance.
Very nice.
So just for everyone's reference, in case nobody knows what an all-party parliamentary group actually is, so it's the APPG, informally known as. It's an informal cross-party group that basically have no official status inside the UK Parliament. They're run by and for members of the Commons and Lords, many to involve individuals or organisations from outside Parliament in their administration and activities.
Awesome. Nice overview. Thank you.
Cool. Tried to come prepared.
So who's speaking at this event? Obviously, Dr. Luke Riley. But any familiar faces?
So we have Piteris Zilgalvis.
Yeah.
So which is interesting because he is, I would say, our principal connection to ANAPA, and is, even though the London, UK, they're separating from the EU, he's still representing as the of the European Commission. Then we have Catherine Mulligan, which I'm barely certain we've had previous interactions with her as well. She's from Imperial College London, as well as Fujitsu, which is, by the way, one of the founding members of Hyperledger Cactus, an interoperability solution Accenture deployed for Hyperledger, with shocking similarities to Quant, but we don't need to cover that yet. We have the eponymous Dr. Luke Riley, our lovely head of innovation at Quant Network, not to be confused with our Luke Russell Coit. And we have Tyler Wellmans, blockchain lead at Deloitte UK. So again, another Deloitte representative, if you remember Antonio Senatore for Quant X 2019. And finally, we have Dr. Navin Ramachandran, member of the board of directors at IOTA. If you all recall, IOTA used to have nice ties with UCL before they fucked it up, but that's okay. You know, everyone has has their moment. So
who was the woman at IOTA?
Julie Manupin or something like that.
Oh yeah,
our favorite Julie.
Jafuli.
Yeah, Luke is our head of. I don't know what would Luke represent.
Well, our Luke.
Yeah, if we could give him a label, what would it be? Head of Outback.
Head of Outback. I like that.
That's a good one.
Glorified degen.
Oh, come on. Give yourself more credit.
Come on, mate.
Dr. Jones.
I thought what was interesting is Imperial always pops up as well. And we already know.
Yeah, they were at the previous Quantex too.
Yeah. It also says, interesting about the format, it says that we 4 to 8 are formal evidence givers. What do you guys think that means?
Evidence givers.
Yeah, evidence givers.
Sounds like
so.
A legal thing.
I think this is not just the choice of Fujitsu was intentional for Hyperledger Cactus representation, from what I can see. So let's examine this, right? The questions: is there a need to establish interoperability standards that allow blockchain projects to communicate with each other? There's obviously, duh. It's just a matter of like what form that will take. Then the second question is there a role of government in fostering the future success of blockchain interoperability? This dovetails so nicely with the parallels between the rise of TCP/IP, the military's use of TCP/IP and sponsorship of that, and now with blockchain-based internet standards, as we're seeing with ODAP, DGP, and ISO TC307. You guys are familiar, right?
Yep.
Like, the OSI model, which was featured originally as it was actually before TCP/IP as a method for standardizing the internet, failed because governments didn't sponsor it. But we're seeing, as Gilbert's mentioned in many slides before, that in ISO TC307, they're learning from their mistakes that the ISO standards group has made, and they're seeking to rectify by unifying and listening to all these different standards bodies. Does anyone have on hand that slide where he had the different levels of standard groups? It's one of the slides, I think, in the past year that he's constructed.
Ooh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Someone's got it in Lounge. Surely.
Come on, Lounge. Do your job, Lounge. Put it in there. I'll have a look as well.
Yes, Jeffrey. Let's go. That's exactly it.
Jesus, that was really quick.
That was extremely
Jeffrey's a
quick.
baller. Let's go.
Let me
Well done, Jeffrey.
go try and open this.
So there are liaisons between ITU, IEEE, IATF, and the IAC between the ISO. So ISO is like the bottom resolution layer for all of these standards. But if utility for what the ISO standard represents doesn't meet, isn't sufficient, if it's too complex or if it's like off base, then it will drift otherwise. So that's what Gilbert and co are seeking to correct.
Can we get that slide put up on the stream?
Yeah, got it. Got it, man.
I feel like Joe Rogan. Can you put it up? Can you put it up for me, Luke?
Jamie, can pull it up. Jamie, can pull it up.
You see, Musk was on. Musk was on again?
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just this week.
Oh, that first one was strange.
Yeah, I liked him talking about.
I don't think that was the first time he was on Joe Rogan either, though.
No, he was on it a year or two ago. You remember when he smoked the weed and there was the whole memes. And
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
That's what it means. Yeah.
Marco.
But did he smoke again or?
no,
Dude, he's in Texas now. Texas doesn't have legal weed.
Oh,
California did.
Although I think he was in the. I think he went to see Rogan again, like in the podcast room. So it would have been in Cali, because isn't that where Joe Rogan is? LA.
No, he moved to.
he moved
to Austin.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Elon. Sorry. I don't know, mate.
aren't they building their gigafactory down in Texas?
Both
now?
of them moved to Austin or to
Yeah.
Texas.
Really.
Damn, the mass exodus from California.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Everyone's cholesterol rates are going to go up. Cool.
Everyone's cholesterol. What?
I don't know. You guys. I, feel like
I didn't understand that one.
Everyone eats more meat
Wait,
in
wait.
Texas.
Wait, yo. By the way, fun fact of the day. There have been several studies conducted recently that show that higher cholesterol levels in serum lead to higher, longer lives. There's a distinct association.
So we want high cholesterol.
Cholesterol is necessary, man. It's just a matter of if you have the means to metabolize it. If you don't have the proper enzymes or cofactors, and if you're like oxidized cholesterol, that's where you have the heart issues. So
that advert's
fact of the day.
fucking lied to me.
yeah, of course, as usual.
This is bullshit. Can't trust anything on TV.
Cool. So we talked about on the questions things. We talked about, is there a role for the government in fostering the future success of blockchain interoperability, right? And that kind of just blends into the whole standards thing anyway, in my opinion, because obviously governments are. That's an interesting question.
Also, Quant's what was it? Compatibility with the UK cloud.
Yeah, that's right. No, the digital framework as well on G Cloud. So absolutely.
I think the big one is like the regional ecosystems that are getting built out, like LAC chain, EBSI, BSN. That's kind of like a government based ecosystem, and the success of blockchain interoperability, as Gilbert says, is we're here to connect those ecosystems and regions together for cross-border trade and trade ecosystems and things like that. So it kind of blends into one. So that seems like an obvious yes. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm honestly just excited to see them speak, if we're being honest. It's a really
Hey Luke,
Hello.
How much connection do you see that sort of infrastructure with the FCA's Global Financial Innovation Network?
Well, we were on the pulse of this for the UK, Australia cross-border trials years ago. They've been doing, I would say, mate, it ties in absolutely, because we've been speculating for years now that alongside Data 61, they were working with the Australian government and the UK government and settlements and identity and stuff like that across, across the border from the Commonwealth and stuff. For people who don't know, the FCA sandbox is like a... Should I pull it up? I'll pull it up.
Yeah, do it. This is your.
This is some old...
I think this is your FA nugget that you've claimed for your own.
It's been a while.
I'm gonna let you shine on this.
It's been a while since we've gone through this.
This is Luke's little baby.
Essentially, it's like you get regulatory clearance and stuff to trial new products and innovations in a controlled environment. But I'm trying to find a case where we had like all the participants of this.
Yeah, so I can name some names. We obviously have the UK government, but we have the United States, the EU, Central Bank of like Hungary. I think Singapore's involved. It's the overlap, and the real kind of eye-opening moment was the overlap between these institutions, which the GFIN precipitated before the BIS Innovation Hub, which came into play.
Because this is what we were speculating, because Data 61, didn't they do a joint proposal with Quant on something for this? Do you remember that?
Yeah, GFIN. I remember that.
That was ages ago. God damn.
That was February 2019.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
Data 61.
coincidentally had featured around the same time that IBM was really active in the Australian blockchain scene.
Yeah,
So,
and that's our boys Data 61, which are essentially like the DARPA of Australian science and innovation, except more not really military focused, more like technology and medicine focused. But Data 61 was leading pretty much all of the large scale blockchain projects in Australia. Working.
Didn't they do a hackathon together? All three of them.
Yeah,
Yep.
Data 61, IBM, and Quant.
that's when Colin and John were still with us. It was so disappointing. Like there was no one at that conference. Like they were expecting so many people to show up, and it was like there was like a few groups at most. It was very disappointing for I think Quant, IBM, and also
I don't
Data
remember
61.
that. I thought it was good. I thought there was like 6 or 7 groups.
I just like it's not. It wasn't like the packed showcase I think Quant was expecting. Like so much about like their process. They thought, they would get 45 million. They got 15. This Data 61 start was really rough. Then
Really? I don't remember any of this.
don't you remember also the promise of like rolling out an app store within like the first year?
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, we had a map
dude.
store, but it was just no one wanted to build anything public.
Well, I distinctly think that the CLS Ledger Connect, wasn't that what it called? That project with IBM. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah, I distinctly recall Ledger Connect being the. It had all the markings of being that app store that they were hinting at, but again, IBM. They've just demonstrated so many times over and over again how they don't know how to bring an innovation like to the fullest potential. Like they bungled their operating system all the way back
Bungled?
when Microsoft. Yeah,
Is that a word?
you're British.
Bungled.
Bungled is a word.
I've never used that in my life. Go on, sorry. That's just tickled me.
Bottle of water.
We're not doing this. Keep going, we're not doing this.
Hey, you're gonna.
Fucking hell.
Do you guys know, I just found an absolute nugget in here. An absolute
What's
nug.
that?
Anyone
Go
on
with
my
it.
stream, I was just looking...
Proper nug.
A proper nug. I was just looking through the regulatory sandbox cohorts, and this one's cohort
Can I just
5.
say, Luke,
Yo.
can I just say, are you changing your screen? Because there's... Oh, don't worry. Go on, keep going.
The YouTube lags our discussion.
Use error.
So I was
You're
scrolling down some of the applicants and what they're working on. And let's just see if anything jumps out here from 2019. Oh, London Stock Exchange Group, a test that will integrate DLT with an LSEG operated listing and trading venues to test market infrastructure for the issuance, admission, and trading of equity securities.
Link it in chat.
Evidencing the change of beneficial ownership. Ooh. And select market practitioners along the value chain to participate. And this is back in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, and then you now have Alliance Block being featured as a London Stock Exchange ecosystem member, right?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
London Stock Exchange, for
the
people
last-
that don't know, is one of our like earliest little nugs.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong?
Dread, I heard when you full sent that. I heard the enter press. That's
I
funny.
woke up. I literally woke up, and that's the first thing. Like I woke up, opened my Telegram, and the first thing I saw was you taking a piss out of my accent. I cried that morning, man.
Oh,
No, I didn't really, but it was funny. Yeah, so we London Stock Exchange. That's a 2018 piece of research, right?
Yeah.
That goes way back.
And the thing is, they said that Alliance Block said they're working on Quant with a product related to this, and they're going to release a paper and stuff on it. So I'm looking forward to that. Whatever that entails. I feel like we're getting a little bit off track. Mainly
That's fine.
we're just getting in the nugs of the source.
That's what the people want. They want the source. I want the nugs.
I want the nugs. Those big chunky nugs that we just stumble across.
Big chunky quant nugs.
The quant nugs. So should we go? The next question was: are there bottlenecks, technical and non-technical, in the scalability of blockchains for mass adoption? I guess each individual ecosystem or layer one struggles in scalability. I mean, we're seeing time and time again different approaches and different consensus models and different chains popping up trying to fix the problem, obviously. But I think what the benefit of what Quant's doing is that applications sit above the chains, and so really they can push throughput where they see fit, and not everything has to go on chain is another thing I think we're going to see is like a big deal in enterprise, is that similar to what Consensus is doing with their framework, where a lot of the stuff will be done off chain and only like top end verification. Okay, you might know more about this, but they're only pushing like certain things on chain. I think that we'll see more of that.
Yeah. I think you're talking about the what was it? It was the
remember that thing that Walpert
Unibright. The Unibright was
the thing
was
that
featured
Walpert
in.
bloke was just chilling for months. Like it was the next thing is the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have Quant, which is like basically a universal layer 2 network, which can reduce fees up to 93%.
Yeah.
And that it can do that sort of trust maximization, cost minimization in a stratified, composable DLT interoperability layer. That's what Quant brings to the table, rather than this consensus Unibright single ledger oriented perspective.
Well, I think something important to touch on here is the use of permissioned and private blockchains in the enterprise space is enormous at the moment. So like, I think we're going to see a lot of transactions happen internally or in-house, and then it's going to be that leap and that fluidity to jump out into other permissioned or private DLTs, as we're seeing. That MLT token thing is a big one on that side, but also that bridge into the permissionless side where they want to is really, it's all about choice. I mean, that's kind of the benefit or one of the main business use cases I see for Quant is it just removes the limitations of locking yourself in. You know what I mean? Like, why would you get stuck to a single technology or vendor and build all this time developing on it when you can go to, Quant's DLT gateway API and then just get it all in one with fluidity and communication across all of them. So from our point of view, I don't really see any technical bottlenecks. What would you say a non-technical bottleneck for scalability of blockchains? What do you think?
I made a post about this today. It's a term Nick Szabo kind of coined, called social scalability. And the main point of the post was about energy costs, but basically, social scalability is the central. It is the biggest bottleneck that is not directly technically related. The different consensus mechanisms are the technical basis by which social scalability is achieved, just like a layer 1 bootstraps for a layer 2. And social scalability, what does that mean? It basically means that a project or a blockchain or a DLT or what have you can equitably like include users, developers, infrastructure providers in a way that is sustainable and that is more superior than the current centralized ecosystems that we have deployed today. Social scalability. I recommend everyone to read this article from Nick Szabo. It's really seminal.
Social scalability, interesting. I think another one that you could also touch on here is getting all your ducks in a row. Like, there's so many different moving parts for some of these ecosystems and trade networks that I don't think they're ready yet to go into. I mean, most of them aren't ready yet to go into full 100% live production across all these different moving parts. If you're going to do a trade network, you've got insurance. You've got supply chain logistics. You've got the finance side of things. Maybe some of these trade networks and technologies are scalable in one area, but maybe there's a hold up on the logistics side or something like that. And so that's not really a limitation of the chain themselves. It's more like the fluidity and congruity of them all together as a whole isn't quite there yet. It's not running as a well-oiled machine. Perhaps that's another angle to look at it.
Yeah, I think, and it'll be very interesting to see how Quant can bring together platforms like Voltron. What was another one? The IBM sponsored trade.
WeTrade, Contour.
Comgo.
Yeah, and
INN.
the likes of Origin Trail, like Origin Trail, completely tokenized, whereas these consortia, which are DLT based, are not tokenized. So I really look forward to seeing what how these networks start competing and where the benefits of non-tokenized versus tokenized networks start to become apparent. You know.
This is an interesting one. We've already been going 25 minutes and we're still on topic 1. But this is an interesting one. What is real capacity versus demanded capacity? I'm not quite sure what they're really asking.
I love that. I love that.
Ooh.
It's a great question.
Is that a
No, I'm talking way too much. I'm talking way too much. I'll let someone else address this.
Let's say Dread take this one.
No, what about Dr. Fielder? I think Dr. Fielder has some real life infrastructure input on this.
That's a handball, that one.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. So capacity to me, there's two sides of it, right? You've got capacity of something you know is currently going on right now, and then you've got demanded capacity, which is also used as based on a figure or based on usage, right? There has to be a demand that goes with it. So I'm assuming that there will be a metric of some kind that they can base this off to make sure that they can obviously meet the demand of what's coming up versus what's there today.
I think we can say that we're safely seeing this with the Avalanche network right now. Their consensus method should be able to take vast more transactions, interactions, etc., than Ethereum does currently. But the way they implemented the EVM within their contract chain, the C chain, made it to where the nodes panicked and had to basically halt the chain. Nothing was vulnerable. It's composed in such a way that if there's a problem like that, it emphasizes security over execution. But it's still. Would you say that's a key example of the difference between
perhaps it's also
real capacity versus demanded capacity?
Yeah, it also.
Yeah, I think again it's straight after scalability as well, right? So it kind of fits in nicely with capacity planning, because again you want to have an ecosystem that you can get the capacity, as I said, you can calculate it, but at the same time it needs to be efficient.
I'm also wondering, and this is coming from a different way of looking at it or a different perspective, but perhaps it's more of a more of a thought-provoking question, whereas everyone always talks about, blockchain and DLT is the future and all these scalability issues and stuff like that, and that when they're all solved and everything, it's going to be, all happy days. Perhaps they're asking, is there actual real business demand for this right now, or are people inflating those expectations for the future? Perhaps that's also what they're talking about.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point.
Anything you guys want to say about this? It also says it's going to be filmed, so that'll be cool. I'm not sure if that means it'll be available publicly.
If you go to the top there, it says you can register. And this is registered for the. I don't know whether that means you can actually view it or you have to there.
Right, I'll make an account maybe and see what's going on. Would be cool to watch it. Also, I'm just what was the next thing we were going to talk about? The other one.
By the way, spending half an hour on this topic I think was really good because it's a new topic as well, and we've managed into it. So I think it was really good that we we spent.
We could talk even further if we needed to.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to try and keep it close to an hour. Don't want to drain people too much. So was the next one you guys want to talk about the MIT event? I mean, I feel like people are kind of underselling this, even though I've seen it talked around a fair bit. But we've literally got an entire event organized by Quant and MIT to basically shill their products and ODAP. I mean, you can't really get any better than listening to them talk all day long about MLTs and things like that. So it's going to be exciting, I think.
Agreed, and it is a partnership, right? It's Quant and MIT at the end of the day. As you say, they're doing a number of these industry days. They're going to go through the digital assets, the need of interoperability protocol. I think the idea, as they stated, I believe, was to prepare financial institutions and clients, for the system that's coming. How it's going to encompass. Yeah.
CBDC.
Example, right?
PayPal's trying
CBDC.
to position itself as a CBDC distributor. This is the exact role Quant is going to play between central banks and, digital challenger banks and other completely DLT-based CBDC solutions.
Absolutely. I mean, in terms of actual day then, so I'll forget welcome and introduction. So they go through the history and intro of the ODAP. So, give everyone that baseline kind of information.
Dr. Fielder, you're glitching out so hard for me. Is that...
I was getting that a little bit there.
It's the same for everyone else.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good now.
So they're going to good. I'll go as quick as I can before it dies again. So they're going to go through the history and intro of ODAP. So go through the baseline, get everyone up to speed. They'll then start work through data and vision of interoperability and architecture for the T gateways. Then start with, digital asset interoperability. What does that mean for financial services? Finally, financial services involvement and need. And my understanding is they're going to run through this exact agenda twice, once on the first day at a certain time, and then once on the second day at a certain time to make sure that there's audience availability.
Yeah, for both.
All right. So for those that don't speak robot, let's maybe we should have someone else take that.
No, it's good. It's thanks. I think the one that I'm really excited about is that it's titled Interoperability of Digital Assets and Cross-Border Transfers. And we haven't really, this is a big one, Ghost, that we always talk about on, these region transfers, again, like EBSI, the UK to AU bridge, all those things. I'm just excited to see Gilbert talk about it. I mean, we haven't really had much.
Oh, Luke, you're now the robot.
Oh, really? I'm now the robot.
So...
Are you a robot?
I bet you high res.
Everyone's the robot.
We're all robots here.
We're all robots. Maybe the Telegram bandwidth is glitching or something. I don't know.
Should we?
Let's reset the chat. Keep recording.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
All right. Hello.
Is this good?
Sounds better than me.
Yeah, we're chilling up.
Okay, good.
Good.
Yeah, so I think we were just saying I'm excited just to see Gilbert and the team talk about it. You know what I mean? Like it's good to see it on paper, but to get the the chads there, and it's just a quant event as well. You don't have to worry about all these other people having their own opinions and stuff. It's just like quant talking about what they're building with MIT and what that means for the industry. And I mean, you can't get any more excited than that. If I'm being honest.
Well, something that I think people are kind of a little bit numb to is the fact that MIT gave its own logo to this event, which, as people can know, just showing a logo
showing a logo, Ghost. What was that about?
I don't know. Someone just...
Are you guys up yet?
Yeah, I think Fielder might have accidentally kicked us off. So, but anyways, so what we're saying is that the fact that MIT Connection Science gave its own logo there is a resounding endorsement in and of itself. We've seen people like, for example, Constellation, when they tried to shield their Splunk partnership, it wasn't properly consummated, and so the whole thing fell through. It was an absolute PR nightmare, and you can see it directly in the chart, just how horrible it was for their price. So Quant, they're doing things right. They're, first they're getting the content out there, which is the ODAP, and DGP, and now they're officially, things are getting a little bit hot. So, so
can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead, Milkman.
So how stiff of a competition to PayPal? So how stiff are they of competition to Quant to get there first to become the CTC?
PayPal doesn't have the infrastructure to directly connect with a central bank in that method. Quant would be one of the ways that they would connect to central banks. And they're positioning themselves with the relationship with the BIS, Bank of England, Federal Reserve, and other central banks, the ECB especially, in order to be that institutional gateway. So there's no competition.
So it's like almost a race to see who can secure the connections first. And obviously
Quant's already there.
Yeah,
that's why I wrote the metagame, because Quant has been there since the beginning. Ever since ISO TC307, it's just been a matter of them building off of that and keeping the tempo, and they absolutely have. So,
I mean, this is why Gilbert is unique in this space, and that's why a lot of people are attracted to Quant, just because Gil's had his finger on the pulse for a long time. And I don't know why I called him Gil, like I'm best friends with him, but he's had his finger on the pulse for a long time. And he's kind of, I know we joke about like 4D chess, but it kind of is, right? I mean, these guys are coming into the space now and looking at CBDCs, etc. But Gilbert's had this in his vision since 2017.
Yeah,
that's a good 4 years advance. Gilbert has. Earlier. Well, yeah, maybe even earlier then. But that's a good 4 or 5 years that Gilbert's has on everyone else. So he has the vision, the technology, the standards. Quant's in a very, very good position compared to anyone.
I do not be surprised if Quant has secured not just one, but multiple credit card providers at being the infrastructure by which they onboard chains and distribute CBDCs. There's I would not be surprised, just pleasantly happy.
So on this MIT event that has the TBC, do you believe that's going to be them announcing like a new sort of connection, industry connection?
Yeah, in BTCC, example, they're onboarding all these T's and
Ghost, you become a robot.
Yeah, robot.
I become a robot.
Robot Ghost.
Yeah, you. Robots.
It's weird. I didn't even mean to end the conversation there. It just automatically did.
Second.
It's all good. It's all good, Cobber.
It's all right. Bots in the market, bots in the chat. It's fine.
There's bots everywhere.
I've been revealed. Oh no.
Yeah.
So what? So go on. What was your question, Milkman?
Do we think the TBC will be a new reveal of someone they're working with or something?
And what was you saying,
Still
guys?
have this feeling it's going to be SDX.
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Certainly wouldn't say
Expect
no.
Tim Grant to be the TBC.
It's just pure speculation, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like in the chat, people saying, "Oh, the price is going to be this, price is going to be that." But at the end of the day, it's speculation. Obviously, it's going to go up, but at this point, everything's speculation.
We operate in a speculative market, and
I disagree.
We can speak in absolutes. No, we can speak in absolutes, but you're right.
I disagree.
Okay, go on. Explain.
What is? Why is Ethereum? Look at the revenue of Ethereum miners right now. It's incredible. That's purely utility.
Right.
But
what about the rest of the market? That's one example.
Look at one of the other coins you're shilling, Dread. Luna.
Okay.
I mean, Luna is
again. You can pick out certain projects, but that doesn't change the fact that we're in a speculative market.
Well, but in a world where you have like unbounded inflation of fiat currency, I think that's by necessity, and it's distraction from the fundamental reality that you need to dig into.
You can have both, fellas. You can have both. It's a speculative hot market, but projects with utility and underlying fundamentals get additional fuel from this speculative market. Is what I see it.
I 100% agree with that. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's fully speculative. I'm saying it's largely speculative.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
It's very retail heavy. Well, it's also very hard to value these things. No one really knows how to value these things. You know what I mean?
Like, there's no way you could tell me that Cardano is worth $30 billion.
Is it really?
Right now.
Well, it's been number 3, like several times in the past week, which is so crazy.
I'm calling top signal. It's time to sell.
Okay, give me your quant. Give me your quant, Luke.
I'm not quant, but I feel like the market's overheated. 30 billion for Cardano, really? Could anyone name one enterprise using it?
Exactly. That's so. How could you even argue that that's not speculation?
Wait. We have no idea what's happening with Cardano. None of us are the experts of the FA.
Billion.
Yeah.
They don't
easy.
They haven't even pushed smart contracts yet, Ghost.
I know, but I'm just saying that they have a very sophisticated research base, extremely well vetted proof of stake formal proofing. They're doing everything right. In the sense that they're making sure it works before just throwing it out there.
So essentially, what
but
you're saying
it's absolutely crazy to me that they're number 3.
You're saying that the $30 billion premium is purely a premium for what people expect it to deliver. But
that's justified.
It's justified. I would agree. I think it's justified. I think it's justified. I'm not saying they're going to be 3 forever, but what is even 30 billion anymore?
I would say I would not be wanting to hold Cardano up here.
I respect you, man, but come on, you cannot justify that Cardano is worth $30 billion right now.
I think it's arrogant to say, oh, the market doesn't know anything about this, because I'm not saying that I know better than the market or that you guys know or idiots or anything like that, but I'm just suggesting that there might be more here than
if the market values it as it is, the market value is you know what I mean. But what I'm saying is, like, this space, like, no one knows how to value anything, and perhaps that's the underlying issue here.
Quant is a perfect example of that.
Yeah,
right.
People are always talking shit like, "Oh, Quant's never going to $2,000 or $3,000 a token." You do realize that's less than a Cardano market cap. Yet the Quant token is like encompassing every single revenue and utility within the space, within its ecosystem. You know, like Cardano, like. And this is what people don't understand about, like, chain fees. And Ghost and I have had this conversation before. He's on a different side of the fence, because I know it's not as black and white as I'm about to make it sound. But, you know, the fees going through Cardano is literally like the only buy pressure on the token. Like the rest of the demand is coming from people who are either locking it up for, like, future use. But in Cardano's sake, they're not even locking it up for liquidity providing or anything, because they can't. There's no contracts yet. So really, like, any buy pressure for Cardano is speculative, because even if you're talking about gas fees, those gas fees just get inflated out from the supply increase.
Sucks.
Well, I think I just lost them again. If anyone can hear me on the stream, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with the internet. Sounds like it's all a little bit.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think your Aussie connection was letting you down there, big man.
Yeah, I don't know. What's going on.
I think Telegram is like
under the
starting to reach.
We maybe need to move this to Zoom or something like
and
that.
then do it over YouTube.
If you've got Discord's pretty good. It's for PC gamers.
I love Discord.
I hate Discord for the sole reason that it sells your data mercilessly.
Can I ask a question as well? Another question, a bit off point, but what are you two guys that are talking now? What's your background? What do you do?
Oh, me? Yeah, you ready?
Because I'm a merchant seafarer, and I imagine
You're a
It
milkman.
differs greatly from what you do, so I'd be interested to hear it.
Hey, I'm a 22-year-old student.
What are you studying?
Commerce and property.
Makes sense.
Mm.
Who's
Who's laughing at me? Who's laughing at me?
That was Mr. Sunshine.
Sunshine, I found that
Bastards.
hilarious.
Bastards. He's mocking
I'm
me.
sorry, but it was like.
I'm just shocked that Milkman's not actually a milkman.
Disappointing.
Oh no.
No, I was a salmon. I was an industrial designer, a salmon farmer. Now I'm a deck officer and a merchant navy man. So don't actually have a clue about cryptocurrencies, man. But listening to you two guys talk, man, it's pretty fucking interesting.
But you've got no school for cryptocurrencies.
No, not at all.
It's good. It's good to have you. It's good that you're enjoying it, mate.
What was the other things that we were going to talk about? We've talked about the MIT event. We talked about the 8 days. The KuCoin listing. I think it's all round. I think it's all round positive. Opens up not only a USDT pair, but also non KYC and US users can use it, which is pretty good. The other thing we were going to talk about was all the new hires, the new job listings again.
Yeah. So how many do we have?
There's 8 open at the moment.
I want to make something explicitly clear before we get anywhere, just because my autism is leaking here. But the meme that, by the way, the meme that like quant is Metcalfe's law squared is absolute bullshit. It's 100%
Santiago
bullshit.
said it.
I don't care. It's bullshit.
Therefore, it must be true.
No.
Are you saying you're
a
better than Santiago?
misconception. It's
we need to have a
double
fight?
counting. It's like you know, taking like 5 cherries in one hand, saying I have 5 cherries, and putting in your left hand and saying, oh, I have 10 cherries.
But all right, well, I'm going to rebuttal you here, okay? So, McAulife's law, you're talking it from the actual mathematics side of it, aren't you? Because
Yes,
I know you're going to say 1 unit equals 1 unit, aren't you?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, so where Santiago is coming from is from a theoretical point of view. So the point of McAulife's law is that for every connection that you add, right, you get more connections and more connections and more connections. That's like it grows exponentially, correct? That's the very basis.
Yes, but that doesn't change Metcalfe's law.
No.
It changes how freely the network, which emphasizes Metcalfe's law, adds more nodes to the network. The value scales the same. That's the difference there. They need
disagree.
to understand that.
I disagree.
No, you can't disagree. You can't disagree.
Oh.
The Metcalfe's law is ironclad. It's been proven over and over and over again. One social unit is one social unit. It doesn't scale to the 4th degree. It only scales to the square. So it's a difference. There's this multiplier, right, of connectors, of like how you connect things, and that's what quant does. That's the magic of quant.
Okay, well,
it's not changing Metcalfe's law.
No, it's not. No one says it's changing it. It's an explanation thing. I'm gonna get a whiteboard up. I'm gonna draw what people think.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it. I can't wait. I would love it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do any math because obviously that's not.
Oh, because you're scared.
No, because I'm trying to explain where Santiago is coming from for people to understand. So Metcalfe's law
I know.
is
I'm just
like
saying
this.
it's important that we get down to like the essentials of what,
Okay.
like why quant is special with regard to Metcalfe's law. And it isn't because it makes like squares Metcalfe's law, because that's bullshit. But it actually increases the rate by which Metcalfe's law can add n units. So
Okay.
that's what I'm getting.
On my YouTube screen, you can see I've drawn I'll get up what Metcalfe's law is. Ghost and I did a whole discussion on this before. We've done a whole video on it if you wanted to look at it. But Metcalfe's law basically, and see, Ghost is going to come from. He's talking about this n, this n squared, like the value, right? But basically, essentially, you see for every connector that you add, the different connections between them all grows almost like in an exponential fashion. What Santiago is saying is that the connectors that quant are building are actually connectors themselves. And so what you're getting is when quant connects something like the EBSI, within that connection is its own Metcalfe's law system, where that's been connecting to hundreds and thousands of ecosystems in itself. Whereas if something like Ethereum is kind of just the one ecosystem, right, which is obviously connecting people and entities in itself. But where he's coming from is that every connector that Quant adds is its in another ecosystem. So it's like, that's what he means. It's like Mech helps
I absolutely
in itself.
agree. I absolutely agree.
Yeah, that's
but
where
you don't need
from.
You don't need to then square it again. You can just count the different ecosystems that ecosystem has access to. If it's something like, oh, there's a different, wasn't it like British Telecom, like their financial network of sorts, an API? Dr. Puppers did a really good job of unveiling this. Radians, it's exactly. Thank you. So Radians is a chief example of one of those networks. But just because Radians has API access to all these different global markets doesn't mean you then square it again and more than double count it. You're just multiplying it more so. You know, you don't need to do that. You just need to say, okay, look, this is what it has access to. That's a network.
Yeah. So
you know?
I get it. So, but just to explain what Santiago means is it's picturing it, right? He's just trying to explain the basis for what we're talking about. You know, each connector is connecting to an ecosystem, which within itself is bringing in thousands of entities. He's not talking like when he says McHelphy's law squared or whatever. Like he's talking about a whip out his calculator ghost. He's just talking theoretically, like trying to get a point across almost.
Yeah. I'm being anally retentive by like trying to like get the specific like what like you if you get the formula wrong, the answer is going to be wrong. Bottom line, that's all it is.
Right. For me,
you don't want your answer to be wrong.
I'm not really fussed about the formula. It's more the fundamental, the potential that brings. You know, for me, that's an investment potential. You want something that opens up connectors, not is closed bordered.
Bottom line, price go up, but don't expect it to go price go up time like to the fourth. It's price go up to the squared, which is only exponential. Sorry, guys.
Anyway, what do you guys want to talk about? The hires, 8 people, pretty cool. You know, that's almost like a third of their entire team they've got out for the hire. So they're growing pretty quick. They'll probably be at 50, well over 50 by the end of this year, potentially.
But they've already been adding quite a lot of members, haven't they?
Yeah. I mean, they're over 30 now. I mean, last year they were like, I think they were like 18 or something, or 20.
Yeah.
Now they're 30.
Well, Gilbert, I can't remember where he said it, but Gilbert said that he wanted the team to be doubled by next year.
Yeah. And he really needs the team to be close to 100.
Yeah, and that's the key part there. It's not that he wants to double the size of the team. They need to.
Yeah.
They need to cover client demand, all the businesses coming their way. They need these people in.
Yeah.
But they also need to be good. That's the problem.
I'm pretty impressed by how many like the ratio of men to women on the hires have been. So, and it kind of fits like Quant's modus operandi too, you know.
I saw people discussing this.
Just connecting things.
It doesn't even like, I don't know why, but it doesn't even matter to me. Like, for me, I just see it's just people on the team. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a lot of women.
Yeah, like it's not even like it shouldn't even be a talking point. They're just people.
That really isn't even a talking point.
So what is the ratio?
I don't know. It'd be close to 50-50.
Gilbert's the only guy there.
Yeah, he likes that environment.
He's got a giant harem.
Yeah.
They put some recent videos up on their Vimeo channel, and it was a bunch of 2-minute videos, just some questions about how's it to work at Quant, the vision of the project, what's your favorite thing, blah blah blah, and they all featured team members, and they were all women. And I don't know whether that's a coincidence or what, but
no, that's 2021.
Yeah, but it's not even it's not a talking point. It's just they have team members. Every business has team members that are women. It's not even a talking point.
I saw it it was in the main Telegram. I woke up the other day or something. I was like, people were discussing it in in the main Telegram, and I was just like, it's just like I could just see it becoming like some big like political discussion or something. I was like, it just doesn't even matter, you know what I mean? Like they're just people doing their job, you know. If they're doing their job well, like who the fuck cares who they are? I didn't care if they were like 20 aliens pushing out the code. I don't give a shit. You know?
If you hire someone on merit, then it's all good.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guarantee you, Gilbert would not have hired them if they weren't good enough for the job.
Yeah, 100%. That's all.
There's no way. He's not compromised on that.
Absolutely. I mean, look at how quickly he iterated through people in these first 2 years.
Exactly.
It's pretty crazy.
He wants the best, and maybe they were the best.
This is like a generation behind. Do you know what I mean? It's just sort of it's old news at this point. You know, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, it was fashionable to be like anti-women on the team, saying, "Oh, you're hired for this, you're hired for that." But nowadays, it's sort of just like, let's everyone just do your fucking job, man. That's it.
Yeah, man. I just don't care about all that stuff.
Yeah,
Jarno, what the hell? Jarno, what the hell? why would you feature that GIF?
I don't remember that in the game. I played that game to death.
What the hell, dude? What the fuck?
So yeah, what do you guys want to talk about?
So I guess we should go through the team members, right? The job listings.
Yeah.
Just quickly whip through them.
Yes, exactly. Calm down. Calm down a bit.
So Scrum Master. How would you explain a Scrum Master?
I don't know, because they already have a Scrum Master. So you have multiple Scrum Masters? I don't really know what a Scrum Master does. I'm not a very good techie person, but I would assume you have different development teams. So my brother works in like web development and stuff like that. They would have like a front end and a back end team. And I would assume you'd have like a Scrum Master and like a few senior operatives for each different team. And you'd probably have different projects. So for example, they get like a big client like Cough Visa or Cough Bank of England or Cough AU Government or something like that, and it's like a big project they've got to work on. You might assign like 2 or 3 devs to that full time because it makes sense. Like you don't want people coming in every day and then writing code for like 10 different things all at once. Like you want the focus and the knowledge to be in the one area. I mean, I don't know. Don't work in the industry, but I assume that's how it works. Mm-hmm. You assign
Scrum is an agile process. It's a process by which you carry out a new delivery and you try and deliver it in a very fast piece of time. And a Scrum Master is somebody that stays on top of the Scrum itself and makes sure that people are doing their job, whips people into shape. That's what they do.
Cool.
Okay, so they're kind of managing.
Scrum Masters.
Is that right?
Project.
They're modern day, the agile version of a project manager.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Cool.
So you would have multiple Scrum Masters then. That's correct, right?
Senior back-end developer. Nothing too fancy about that. Pretty straightforward. People don't know back-end is like the infrastructure, all the cogs. Front end is the UI, the pretty looking stuff. What it looks like on the front side.
Need to restart.
Again.
You guys are turning into robots again. This robot thing is very annoying.
What's gone?
So we're back.
Am I the robot?
Senior DevOps engineer. I always like looking at the things the requirements they need. It's pretty cool. Wow, look at this is cool. I just found this. We are committed to employee physical and mental well-being. You have unlimited access 24/7 to our employee assistance program, but it will also have access to free online fitness classes, free online GP service, healthy eating plans, as well as discounts on gym memberships and equipment. Bro, get me hired.
Yeah, it seems like Quant team is highly aware of mental health and supporting their team members as much as possible, which I think is essential, especially like a hyper-connected world means that you need hyper-fit individuals to handle the amount of connections and information they need to deal with. If you aren't up to fitness, then get the hell out. Basically, is the bottom line.
So I'm pretty sure DevOps is just like another overseeing position sort of thing. Quality assurance engineer. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Everyone kind of knows what quality assurance does. Back-end developer, same sort of thing we were just discussing. Just you guys jump in if you want to add anything here. Head of engineering. Now this is one I haven't seen listed before. Line manage 5 to 7 engineers against our management framework. Train and coach others in the department to become team leaders. So basically another senior kind of position, managing a group or something like that.
I have a feeling we're really hitting critical mass here.
Yeah.
That a lot of we're going to start attracting the type of talent that will really take us to the next level.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
DevOps engineer. I don't really know what DevOps means in like a literal sense, but I assume it's just more of the same shit.
Yeah, DevOps is basically making sure the right code gets into production at the right time. So as they go through iterations of code, making sure the right changes get put in place and that there's no issues with the server and the front end and whatnot, and it all plays together.
Perfect. I just want to say this is like a perfect example of why like an interconnected world is so valuable. We have like opinions from people and information from people who are knowledgeable in certain areas, and like it makes the community value as a whole go up when every individual person comes in and provides information like this. Obviously we're not that techie and things like that, so having opinions from people who work in the industry is just so invaluable, and it's just like a credit to having like a strong community base with different talents and stuff. Same with like graphic designers. We have some people whipping up, like the bloke who whipped up the image for this stream. It's actually an incredible image. I mean, the ghost has even got the Fendi in it. Like, it's absolutely fantastic. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that participates in whatever way you do, because everyone bringing a little bit of their own selves and their own knowledge into this really just creates incredible value for everyone else. So thank you, Lord Farquant, as well, for helping out then. And product analyst, this is one I don't think is on the technical team, more experience with, let's have a look what they were asking for. It's more the, maybe like market fit, kind of like almost working in what does the market need as such for product development in the future. Would you agree? I feel like I'm talking too much.
Yeah,
No,
we're
you're
getting
doing well, mate.
feedback
You're
from
doing well.
clients.
Yeah, it seems like they'll be joining the product team, so that's essentially almost R&D, I guess.
I mean, it's good to see that the team are just hiring. I mean,
Yeah. At the end of the day,
the global landscape at the moment. It's great to see that the team are expanding at such a impressive rate, especially when the world's going to shit.
Yeah.
So it shows that Quant are completely on the right track, hiring some talent. Business is good.
How many offices do they have now?
So there's one in London,
An American office, London office. I think they're flirting with an Ireland-based office once.
that was that ever really?
I think it's just a
officially
registered office, like a registered address. Same as the Swiss one.
I thought 2 American offices.
Well, there was going to be one in California, and then they were talking about a New York office.
Yeah.
Yo, Sebastian just found something amazing.
Link me.
Live.
Blockchain gateways, bridges, and delegated hash locks. Thomas Harjono, the MIT Connection Science, released yesterday. God, Sebastian, you're so good.
Whoa, relax, bro.
Too bad.
He's getting excited.
I think he is relaxed, very.
This is the bomb.
Sebastian.
Yeah, baby, let's go.
I'll pull it.
Water Gateway Protocol, BGP.
Yo, guys, chill.
Is it just Tommy? Yeah, it's just Tommy.
Oh, Tommy.
Jeez, it's 23 pages. And I complain about doing like a 6 or 7 pager for uni.
Let's do this. Let's just let's do a real time review of this.
Why does
Wait, how about we I want to print this off because I always do better when I read it. Let's take a break. like get some tea, come back,
Wait,
and
Ghost, should we do this next
let's review
week?
this. No, dude, let's do it right
Yeah.
now. Why
It's
not?
late. It's late for a lot of people, and we've already been going an hour. This would be good source to do next week.
am. Yeah, exactly, Tommy. Thank you very much. If there anyone, I'll do a poll. I'll do a poll.
Damn you. I love how everyone always uses Alice and Bob when talking about this shit.
I mean, if your printer isn't from 1960, then it shouldn't take an hour.
Beep boop boop.
All right,
Ghost,
go vote.
I don't have long.
Vote.
I don't have long. How long do you think this is going to take?
Probably another hour.
Oh, Jesus.
If like 30 minutes if we really rush it, but you always want to like take your time with this.
Could we do? You really want to do it now, don't you?
Look at the poll.
I've got
Look
time.
at the poll. Look at the poll. What is the ratio right now?
I know, but I've got to get off soon. I don't want to have to cut you off mid-flow.
Well, I mean, I can record this and give this to you later, so you can upload if you want.
It can be done. It can be done off the stream. If we need to end the stream here, we can. This can be done off the stream.
Yeah, that's what can probably happen. So
do you think
I can record this on my end.
Do you think we could do a 10-minute flick through, just like the titles and some images, and on the stream?
Luke,
and then if you want to
here's the thing. Here's the thing. You should give me access to your YouTube via my Google account.
Sure. Just
yeah, dude.
Ignore like the Pokemon or whatever. What's that girl's name?
The what?
What's that girl's name? That I'm thinking of something else. Never mind.
Pokemon.
Yeah, I was just gonna be like, ignore my subscriptions.
Oh no, dude! No, I'm not saying your account. I'm saying this.
Oh, I can
like,
give you the stream key. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, that's easy.
Or like, yeah, I'm wondering how that works. So
no, it's really easy. I give you like a cryptography key, and you just plug that in to your OBS, and it streams directly to my account.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
I just wanted
Holy
to
crap!
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of these things. It's pretty dope.
I'm seeing references to Lipton. Is it Alex Lipton?
Yeah.
It references the Martin paper as well.
So yeah, DM me that stream key, and we can get this.
Are you really gonna? All right. Fuck.
Yeah, dude.
Could we do it?
I'll gladly do it.
Could we do it? Oh.
Global Legal Entity Identifier Foundation.
GLEIF.
Could we do it? Could we do another one in another day or so? Ghost.
Luke wants to be there.
Dude, this is so filled with so much juice.
I know. That's why I want to make like a. Oh, God, I gotta go. I want to be here. It's gonna ruin this. It's gonna ruin it.
No, it's
Come
not.
on, Luke.
I have to
Look
go,
at that poll.
Yes.
Look at that poll.
Yes, you can do it. But how am I gonna? I need to go.
9%. That's almost 90.
How are you gonna
I'm sorry
do it?
you have to go.
How do
I'm
you
sorry, but content sleeps for no man.
I'm trying to think how I can get you to keep the stream going. It's not going to work.
I've got OBS set up.
But it will still cut the stream, and then it will make a new one.
That's okay.
Project Ubin referenced.
Oh, dread. Oh, baby.
So, what have you done? Oh, no.
Oh, that tickled me. Oh, dread. Fucking hell, Ghost. You make me laugh, man.
Alright, let's... Alright, Ghost, can you do it in 20 to 30 minutes?
Like, oh yeah.
Come on, let's give it a go. Come on.
I think that's a really good idea though.
Right,
I need to brew some more tea. Anyways.
Let's try and do this in 30 minutes. Okay, we'll keep the stream going, Luke. You try and hang around, and when you get off, Luke, we'll end the stream. And anyone still in the chat who wants to keep listening, they can keep listening.
Yeah,
okay.
Sounds good.
That sound good?
Sounds good.
So wait, so you want to reconvene in 30 minutes, right?
No.
We want to go right now for 30 minutes.
Oh. Okay, never mind. Okay, let's go.
Oh, now you want to break. Now you don't want to do it.
I just want like a 5-minute break, but no worries.
Okay, go on. Go make.
Not allowed.
And
Deny.
we'll
Negative.
we'll
Negative.
We'll have 25 minutes.
I'm bungled.
You're eating into your own time, man.
Oh man. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Okay.
Don't read every word.
All right. So blockchain gateways, bridges, and delegated hash locks. In the current work, we discuss the notions of gateways as means for interoperability across different blockchain systems. We discuss two key principles for the design of gateway nodes and scalable gateway protocols, namely, first, the opaque ledgers principle as an analog of the autonomous systems principle in IP datagram routing, and two, the externalization of value principle as the analog of the end-to-end principle in internet architecture. We illustrate the need for a standard gateway protocol by describing a unidirectional asset movement protocol between two pure gateways under the strict condition of both blockchains being private permissioned with their ledgers inaccessible to external entities. Several aspects of gateways and gateway protocols discussed, including gateway identities, gateway certificates, and certificate hierarchies, passive locking transactions by gateways, and potential use of delegated hash locks to expand the functionality of gateways. That's really interesting. First and foremost, this is strictly for both blockchains being private or permissioned.
MLT, baby.
Yeah, but MLT works in a way of like private issuance than public tracking.
I still think that's one of the biggest use cases of Quant is that private to permissionless seamlessness.
100%, but this is just this whole paper is about private to private.
Oh, cool.
So there's room for Quant, like you were saying, to be that public-private bridge.
Nice. All right. What's next? You want me to scroll down to introduction, or are you actually going to read it all, or how are you going to do this?
Well, I mean, we can just pull out highlights and then go from there, right?
Yeah,
because like again, there's tons of
people can read it in their own
tons
time.
of. Mm-hmm. So something very interesting is that this sort of protocol can be viewed as a means of layer 2, that you have a permissioned or private chain that operates on top of the public permissionless infrastructure, which scales in the sense of distributing information, but not in the sense of having everyone talk at the same time. So that this may be a method by which this works.
Is it similar to the level 2 that Quant created?
I'm sorry, Jeff, you're a little bit soft there. Could you say that again?
Is it similar to the level 2 payment channels Quant created?
Yeah. So those could be thought of as hash locks between two different parties. So
yeah, I'm seeing overlaps between ODEP, Quant's level 2 payment channels.
Sorry, could you repeat what you said before about the distribution of data?
Would you mind saying more? What do you mean by distribution of data?
You just had some sentence before. I didn't quite catch it. I was hoping that you could repeat yourself.
So basically, I was saying before that this sort of protocol is designed for private to private blockchain asset exchange and therefore data exchange. But the way that they could be anchored is in such a way that you have a public coordinating ledger, permissionless, that then acts as the logistical center between the private to private, like setting up the private to private channel deployment.
I don't really understand why you need that on a public chain for the private to private deployment.
Public chains have their distinct benefits.
Okay, I get it. It's just a single source of truth, I guess.
Yeah, that's one of it. Though I mean, there's going to be institutions that view public chains as, you know, unnecessary, but it's I think we're going to enter, like I said before, we're going to enter a world in which the benefits and costs of each architectural decision will be weighed, and it will all filter out.
Oh, so, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, absolutely. Luke, do you want to keep going?
Sure. Which part do you want to talk about in particular? Because there's a fair bit. I'm down at, I'm just kind of like scrolling through things.
So they compare this new standardization process to how the internet developed, saying it's similar patterns of growing pains as of LAN technologies in the 1980s.
I was just looking at this this part here, gateways for interoperability, autonomy, and asset mobility. If you just look at the headliners, we motivate the need for blockchain gateways and blockchain gateway protocols in the following summary. This is basically a shill shot for Quant. Enables blockchain interoperability. Obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory. Ensures blockchain network autonomy. This is an interesting one.
Guys, this is the formalization of the DGP IETF proposal.
Then the next.
This is what they're building here.
The next one is
so using border gateway protocol as a fundamental analogy for how they would interoperate these private DLTs with one another.
And it enables virtual asset mobility, and this is MLT. The use of blockchains permit innovative asset movement protocols to be developed that can be implemented by gateways across standardized APIs. Such asset movement protocols can be designed for specific asset types and be operated by gateways according to the different regulatory jurisdictions in the world.
Here's a philosophical question.
Okay.
Are permissionless protocols with permissionless consensus systems more autonomous than private consensus protocols?
Autonomous?
Yeah.
No, I would say permissionless is more autonomous.
That's what I'm saying. Is permissionless more autonomous than private permissioned?
Yes, I would say so. Don't you?
I would say effectively I would agree with you, actually. I'm just wondering if anyone has like a disagreement.
I actually disagree.
How so?
I feel like for public blockchains, it's very difficult for them to do autonomous changes, whereas for a private blockchain, it's much easier to make autonomous changes.
Well, what do you define as an autonomous change? Are you saying a code base?
Change in consensus, change in records.
So that's why would you consider that to be autonomous?
That's just how I define as autonomous. I guess it's a difference in definition.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so let's return actually to what this is a good question. Let's return to what the first use of the autonomous systems definition in regard to the internet. The internet, the autonomous system designation specifically mentions router systems. So the routing of packets to and fro different networks, right? This is where the term network of networks really comes up in here as well. So the autonomy there is the fact that you can send a packet to an address and that the system will perform the necessary routing autonomously with integrity. Now, that doesn't have to do with upgrade. The upgrade changes how the autonomous system performs, but the autonomy would be, in this case, the routing of value from one account or address to another. So in my opinion, autonomy first and foremost is autonomy of function, and then that's the second order of autonomy you're describing, which is an autonomy of form and the governance of that, and so on and so forth. And that's a very nascent field, I think Tezos was one of the more prominent attempts at trying to provide this on-chain autonomous self-regulating ecosystem. But plenty of people would debate what would be the best way for a system to govern as such. But yeah, I love that question. It's a very good one.
Yeah, for me, I had a very basic understanding of autonomous. I thought it meant like something that just runs in perpetuality without much interference or influence. And for me, I just thought permissionless systems, I would assume
they're more resilient for sure,
because they have a more
when you have a permission
network base. Yeah,
exactly. And there's no central authority that dictates who maintains the consensus or the global state of the ledger. Whereas a permission system, there's always that board, in essence, that performs that.
The next one's what we've been talking about for years, goes enforcement point for AML KYC regulations and international taxation.
Absolutely.
Cover your ears if you're about to be triggered. But Ghost and I have been talking about the fact that gateways and what quantum building, and I already believe that they're being used for this. You'll have regulatory nodes set up on networks and stuff like that are, what are they called, supervisory nodes, or it'll evolve into RegTech autonomous, what do they call it, regulatory automata, that's it?
Yes.
So essentially there'll be like a godlike node that will be able to view and interact within the network and transactions, basically like checkpoints, as these guys are talking here. Look at this. Furthermore, for cross-border movement of assets, the gateways also become checkpoints where international taxation concerns can be addressed. This is incredible. This is really visionary stuff here, Ghost. They're talking about...
Remember, MIT as well as partnering with the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston for this very...
And the last one, again, enables integration with legacy systems. This is basically this is pretty much a quant pitch. But are you looking at my screen, guys? You got the YouTube up muted, or
I'm looking at the document independently.
Right. I'm down to the image, the first image with Alice and Bob.
Nice. Okay, so they're describing exactly the problem of depending on essentially exchanges, which are, as Gilbert would say, cowboy exchanges. They extract huge renting fees. They're a quintessential example of the trusted third party as a security vulnerability right here, like Binance, KuCoin, et cetera, et cetera. So, and they are not autonomous. These exchanges, they're not. They are centrally managed, and they can go down and lose funds, and there's plenty of problems with it.
Ghost, is there? And this is me just spitballing on like a grand scale. I'm gonna have to get some water soon. My throat's going real dry. But
that's why I said we should take a 5-minute break. But you guys are like,
I need to go. I know, but I got things to do. That's all. Could these regulatory agencies and like government bodies and stuff, essentially, could they run their own smart contract or computation on chain that facilitates the cross-chain swaps? So for example, where they talk about this taxation, would that essentially be like a mini Uniswap for transfers, where the government agency or the RegTech body would then take like a fee or take the tax out, and it'll all be like on-chain contracted? So like funds go in, it does all the computation on-chain, funds come out, and it's all like recorded and feed and tax and all that. Is that how it's going to work, or you think it's going to be more of an off-chain thing?
They would be wise to do that, because it would increase the trust of the infrastructure as a whole. Because if just doing it off chain would just be a return to the same old in a new form. personally, in my opinion.
Mm.
I think they'll initially do off-chain or private permission, but I do think that at least having the contracts that are being executed as publicly auditable code would be a huge step forward towards this a new paradigm of governance.
Guys, I'm
Really.
getting unbelievably bullish, mate. Look what I've just read. Look at this. I'm down at the next image. It's got the gateway state transfer protocol. And listen to this. This is what we always talk about. This is why people don't understand the benefit of Overledger and its abstraction layer. A ledger within an origin blockchain may employ a different data structure to represent virtual assets that is different from the ledger data structure used in the destination blockchain. As such, the gateway in an origin blockchain may need to deliver the information in a standardized format to the gateway in the destination blockchain in order to permit
ISO TC307
interoperability.
taxonomy.
Yes, and MLT, standardized. And this is what Luke released in that SDK release last year that no one really understood. It was where they were extracting. Oh, this is so ahead of. They were on the ball back then, Goes. They were extracting. They were extracting the different. You know what that would. How would you explain that?
The basically the metadata about the asset, and then can resolve it on multiple different syntactic representations.
Hmm.
The data object.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's what it was. Object standardization or something like that.
6D chess Gilbert.
Mm-hmm. The true 4D chess master.
I'm just reading down. I'm at 3.5 at the moment.
This is incredibly motivating as well, in the sense of like the vision Santiago just absolutely loves, which is of a fully autonomous, like, cross-chain liquidity platform where settlement occurs in a matter of minutes rather than in days or weeks, and this can happen all across the world. It really embraces light speed communication at its finest, rather than more paper-based records.
Go, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna ask if I could bring something up. I think there's like a travel rule that you have to exchange identities, and I think this is actually a way to comply with that. I think it's actually the only way I know that people can comply with that on scale. So I would like to just bring that up for a little bit.
John, do you remember the GLEIF we were talking about before?
Glyph? Could you remind me? I'm sorry.
Go look that up.
Okay,
It stands for the Global Legal Entity Identifier Foundation. This is set up by the FATF, G20, and BIS complex, and it is basically the regulatory body or / foundation that is going to be enforcing this sort of digital identity, which will tie into these sorts of regulatory requirements. So absolutely, this plugs in for sure.
Okay, I'll definitely take a look.
So we have the regulatory policy enforcement point, which as Luke was saying, is the regulation automata. It's for enforcing rules, policies that implement regulations related to asset types and legal jurisdictions. So we're going to see the virtual asset space start to have repercussions from geographic locations, which is going to be very interesting to see how these autonomous systems resist this, because there's a distinct reach for these systems to be, in essence, sovereign from geographic jurisdiction. So I'm really looking forward to see how these different forms of law, in essence, interact with one another.
Ghost, look at image figure 3. This is one of the coolest diagrams I've seen that demonstrates what occurs when.
I'm going to say one more thing. The opaque ledgers principle demonstrates exactly why this gateway system is needed. Because if they weren't opaque, then the need for gateways is lessened. So I just want to briefly mention that. I'm going down to the third. There's so much content here. It's crazy.
Yeah, we need to probably do a whole video on this. But if you look at the image 3, you can see what happens on what chain and what happens on the off-chain gateway area. And you can see this is what the whole MLT, I think, is going to be doing. You see, look, are you with me? Are you seeing it?
This is going to be what when, not if, nation states run their own infrastructure on permissioned and private ledgers. This is how they're going to exchange wholesale CBDC assets.
So we see that the originator asset move request, and then the gateway does an identity and asset validation. Then it goes to asset lock and escrow, lock escrow evidence recorded, and it's visible on ledger 2. This is exactly MLT, mate. Multi-ledger tokens. This is what we're talking about.
For sure. Except multi-ledger tokens. Again, multi-ledger tokens are built for the issuance and then the creation of CBDCs that can be tracked from a private ledger on the public ledger. So it's a similar process in the sense that it's an atomic swap, Not atomic swap, but atomic issuance, transfer, destruction, and regeneration.
It's a really cool image, I think, at least.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna go.
Sorry, just a quick question. What is atomicity? Because I see it's mentioned in the paper like a couple times, and I know Gilbert's been talking about it recently. I just wanted to
atomicity is in essence the property that ensures that double spins don't happen. So on one chain, if you transfer an asset to another chain, it's destroyed on the original chain, and that the new chain it's created on the new chain. So that's what atomicity is. So there's not like two assets that will be existing in their own network.
Go take a look at
cool, thanks.
Take a look at figure 4. You've got legal plane, value plane, and mechanical plane. It's a pretty cool explanation. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they place the most subjective portion at the top, and then they get to more and more objective representations. So subjective, how you govern yourself. Less subjective, what you're governing, the value, and then the least subjective, the mechanical process that ensures that. And here we go, the VASP, a digital identity, which would be, if they're going to be GLEIF compliant, that'll be SSI based, which is nice. And then the blockchain global identifier. So the unique identity of the autonomous blockchain system. Again, I think it's very interesting that they're choosing to completely ignore permissionless infrastructure. I think this is out of necessity because they're trying to preserve entities such as the IMF, the BIS, and
where are you seeing
FATF. Well, it said that in the beginning.
Yeah, the abstract.
But you get to 6.2 and it says bridges for private blockchain networks. So it's like a whole
to other private networks.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I feel like the first.
Well, I haven't gotten all the way down there, so I'm just proceeding.
But really quickly, I also think the reason why is in the original gateway paper, it was really clear that the gateways needed to be part of consensus and needed to have like some amount of like leader selection among the gateways. So I think that's another reason why it's not seen in public blockchains as well. It's because I don't think that I forgot the safe environment, like I'm blanking out on the name, but it's like Intel has
trusted execution environment.
Yeah, exactly. Those are probably not up to standard right now, so probably still is unable to use it for public blockchains.
Intel was trying. That's why they had Sawtooth, right? So Hyperledger Sawtooth was deployed in order for Intel to have this software layer that would interconnect their trusted execution environment hardware. Now that's like, you don't necessarily need a like private blockchain to govern all that. You can just treat it like an oracle in that sense. Like every individual can be like self-sovereign in that sense. So maybe that's why they haven't it hasn't taken off as well as they wanted to. But they're definitely involved in this process. So it's going to be interesting to see how the different layers of hardware, software, blockchains all commingle with one another. I really look forward to seeing how that shakes out. So yeah, I mean, see right here, gateway device attestation key pair, right? Solutions for hardware-bound keys have been developed by several industry organizations, and that's referenced in 43 to 46. Let's see who that is. By the way, I'm going to say this again. I really recommend people to read the source list first before you read even the whole document. Because if you go through the source list, you'll know exactly you'll look beyond the document, and you can kind of anticipate what it's going to be talking about before it actually brings it up. And so you can like better prep your mind for the different concepts that a document's going to broach. So
they talk about a witness blockchain that further down, Ghost.
What page is that? Third-party witness blockchains. Okay, yeah, this is the first mention of a public witness blockchain.
This is new to me. I'm interested.
It's like a public record between both of them. But isn't this kind of essentially not needed through MLT because it provides a record to both parties on both internal permission networks?
I mean, again, that's the whole point of interoperability. You can have the choice of deploying on a private and or public, and it depends on like what kind of security assumption you want to make.
This is so high level. Like why are people not talking about this? This is like
because it's so high level. So it's really abstract.
So like, essentially, this public witness blockchain, right, Ghost? Like, hear me out. So if you've got private blockchain one for, let's say, like Wells Fargo, and then you got JP Morgan on the other side, and they're doing like a cross-chain swap, you'd use the public witness blockchain as like a juror to show like the transactions, the log, the records, and all that. Is that kind of what's happening?
Yeah. So it's like what we're discussing about before. What's the name of it? The UD Bright consensus thing for supply chains.
Oh my god! And it was all anyone ever fucking talked about for about 2 months.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I just can't.
Yeah, I know.
Baseline protocol.
Baseline protocol. That's the one.
Baseline based. All right, but so yeah, this is like a multi-ledger version of the baseline protocol in this setup, to where you can have a multitude of different public witness blockchains that are used as coordinative centers for the private chains to ensure communication with one another, while preserving some a level of autonomy and a level of privacy that is needed by the organizations.
Is that what the supervisory autonomous node is from the Fed?
That's going to be more. So there's overhead along with that. Like they'll provide that service of basically free, but obviously there's regulatory requirements, ID requirements, and jurisdictional requirements that emerge from that. So interoperability in this sense implies that you don't necessarily even need to trust that regulatory node. even though this implementation basically requires it. I could definitely anticipate in the future public blockchains making claims to, hey, you don't need that regulatory autonomous node. We'll just be the public coordinated mechanism.
Oh yeah.
Hype.
I think the
so,
conclusion basically sums up the bull case for quant, dare I say.
So let's look at well, I want to look at what a delegated hash lock is.
All right. How long do you think we can wrap it up?
One
in the next 5-10
potential
minutes?
function. This is a yeah. This is, I think, the really juicy part.
Okay.
One potential function that could be implemented by a gateway is accessing a hash lock time lock contract, commonly referred to as a hash lock. Smart contracts at a third-party remote blockchain, demonstrated is B4 in Figure 8, in which the gateway has access. This approach may be useful for cases involving fungible assets in which cross-blockchain movement involves the exchange of values, a common domination. Example given, a fiat-backed stablecoin. So this might be actually the MLT, dude. This might be the MLT. And remember, I was discussing before in a previous talk, like what happens when you have like MLT when you have multiple private chains interacting with one another across public blockchains as well. Really interesting. So, all right, the process of hash strong cryptographic hash function. S is the secret, and then there's the duration time. So this is like any hash lock, which originated with Bitcoin. So basically, the third-party blockchain is the source and the coordinating agent of the hash lock that both the private B1 blockchain and the destination blockchain B2 are using as a coordinative mechanism. And the gateway, which is represented by a value-added service provider, is the agent which coordinates the private blockchain B1 and the third-party blockchain B4. So basically, they're delegating the hash lock to the gateway, which sets it up, keeps the secret, and executes it for the private chain. It basically offers, interoperability as a service. This is interoperability as a service, like in the most axiomatic sense of the term. This is how in the Overledger network, this is how gateways are going to make revenue. They're on-demand agents that for service fees can coordinate private blockchains via hash lock stored on more public records that they extract a minimal fee for, rather than something like an exchange. So it's more autonomous, and it can happen without trusting a central third party, because you could have multiple gateways which do this very thing.
And also, in addition, I think that the way the gateways will probably work is let's say person A with bank 1 their bank is running a gateway with B1. It'll also have to have a gateway that's running B4. And then person 2, whose bank is with B2, also has to have a gateway running B4, I believe. And so both of them, basically, they'll need to have that backend infrastructure running both, all 2 or 3 of these blockchains. And probably they'll need help with that as well.
Yeah, I'm wondering how a gateway which is run, if someone doesn't have access to the private blockchain, but they're a gateway of the public blockchain, if they would have any role in this secure asset transfer. So
Oh, you're saying it's like a third gateway, like the Overledger network, and then that's used as a service. I think that could work. Or maybe that was the original intention, and I messed up.
No, you're fine. I'm just thinking out loud.
I think your interpretation is correct.
Yeah, it definitely could occur. There might need some cryptographic trickery, such that, let's say, like a gateway which represents a private chain isn't running blockchain B4, then it could you could as part of the multi-chain application have a gateway which runs B4 trustlessly execute the code which contains the secret of the hash lock, or like the secret is coordinated with the hash lock. So it could append that to the chain and then execute that on demand. But be completely dependent upon some private gateway which is connected to the B1 blockchain or the B2 blockchain. So that's the way I think potentially that revenue could be shared, rather than just like eaten up completely by a gateway which runs B1 and B4 or B2 and B4.
Like my thinking is like there's like some amount of risk using a third-party gateway because they have a chance to censor or go down. Like I know it's not likely, but like there is some amount of risk involved.
Sure.
Like my initial instinct was like I thought that it was like that both, but then they have to run a public gate, like a public blockchain, and I know Gil says that like that's not what organizations are interested in. I'm kind of split on the benefits of both, but I'll just I think it's probably your interpretation. I haven't been completely convinced.
You're not saying anything that's wrong. You're just merely pointing out the need for protocols like Chainlink, which have they're redundant Oracle systems, and Quant has oracleization features in it as well. So it's an oracle. You can think of it as an oracle to multiple blockchains at the same time. And so in this case, you would have a series of gateways which all have access to the public chain, and because the public chain's record is all available to each of these gateways, you can make sure that they're all executing it properly. And so basically, you could have an appending of this this delegated hash lock that is co-signed by gateway 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if gateways 2 and 4 appended a wrong version, that would be intrinsically obvious by both the hash of the data that is submitted and also by the other gateways which have properly computed it. So that's how you could ensure that the public delegated hash lock is properly embedded within that public blockchain, and you get the benefits of the public blockchain with the private blockchain. It's and the beauty of interoperability really shines there.
I know this is like a lesser talking point, but I'm not 100% familiar with oracles, but I do recognize that like third-party oracles have risks also involved with them. Like they also go down, maybe they have the incentive system that's behind them. There might be some ways of attacking it as well. Like
always.
Always. So
and that's the trade-off, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And that's why again, we're going to see this world emerge where there are benefits to public blockchains and trade-offs. There are benefits to private blockchains and trade-offs. And by intermingling these two different architectures, we can have the benefit of this heterogeneous ecosystem.
I think that's fair.
Mm-hmm. And that's where the real value emerges too. When you have unexpected utility from simple axioms that people are able to play with, and the play is the key rather than just like some stratified like bureaucrat saying, "Oh, this is how it must be." Set the rules up, let the people play. If it breaks, it breaks. Then you fix it, and then from there, a whole bunch of utility will emerge that we're just not even expecting. So, John, thank you for your contributions. Really, good questions.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
What are we thinking, Ghost? What, you want to keep going, or I think most of this is what we've seen before, and there's just a conclusion.
So I think we should just read the conclusion and then wrap it up.
Okay, cool.
So if blockchain technology is to be a foundational infrastructure for the future global virtual assets industry, then the current nascent industry nascent industry needs to begin addressing the challenges around blockchain interoperability. In the current, I think this is a typo. We have discussed the need for blockchain gateways as a means to achieve interoperability across different blockchain networks and to support the cross-blockchain mobility of virtual assets. One key component for interoperability is the well-designed architecture for gateway nodes that integrate the various blockchain networks based on standardized APIs and gateway protocols. We discussed some of the design principles for gateways, notably under strict condition where the origin blockchain and the destination blockchain are both private and permissioned. Another key ingredient is a standard gateway-to-gateway protocol that implements the movement of virtual assets from one blockchain to another, satisfying the classic ACID properties, which is atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. We discussed an example of the gateway protocol for the unidirectional movement of assets, following the classic two-phase commit diagram. The unidirectional protocol can be used as a building block to achieve atomic swaps across two private blockchain systems. Finally, we discussed several aspects of gateway development deployments, including gateway identities and certificates, gateway crash recovery, and the problem of discoverability of gateways at a global scale. Now, before I move on, I just find it really interesting that they have a subnote on page 22 where they say, where is it? Okay. This is one reason why the Bitcoin cryptocurrency cannot be a mediating denomination for atomic swaps. And they say, putting it another way, Bitcoin has no value and hence it can have any price. I have a I don't want to go into that too hard, but that is yeah.
Wait, I want to go into this hard.
Go for it. Yeah, go ahead then.
Oh no, I meant like as an open discussion. Like, yeah. What does everyone think of the? I'm just curious what everyone thinks about it. I guess I'll start. I think there's some people who say Bitcoin is backed by electricity. I don't think that's true. It's not backed by anything. When it's backed by something, if you sell it back or redeem it back, you'll get the same amount. You can't get the amount of electricity back if Bitcoin is at price zero. So it's not backed by electricity. So I completely agree it has no inherent value, but it has social value just like gold does, and that everyone seems to agree that people want Bitcoin and are willing to sell it for some amount of value. So I agree it has no intrinsic value, but I think there's some social value involved.
So, John, would you say that the conversion of electricity into Bitcoin is a one-way function?
Yes, I would. Just like if you're mining something real, you can't. If you mine iron ore, it's not like you'll put it back for the exact same electricity price and everything and then restore nature back to its original form. Like it's not, I think it's like real mining.
Yeah. Like, you take the iron ore out of the ground, convert it into a steel beam. You really can't put that steel beam back in the ground. It's not iron ore anymore,
Exactly.
Now, So this is a one-way function, right?
Correct.
But what is the governing mechanism of that function?
I think it's too much of a general and leading question. If you could just conclude for me.
It's very simple, man. Try it. Let me say it again. So the conversion of electricity and actually let me, before we get there, the conversion of electricity and what produces Bitcoin? The intersection of electricity, right? So that's one variable. What's the other variable?
Greed. I feel like anything can fit in. I feel like it's
no. There's a very specific,
I know it's
objective,
specific, but it's
quantitative
a
amount.
general statement. Please just answer for me. I don't know what you're leading on to. But
I want. What would you say, Luke?
Hashing, computation.
Bingo. That's it.
Oh, you're so smart. Oh, wait, go.
Luke got it. That's right. So it's not just electricity.
Okay.
If it was just electricity by itself, then nuclear generators, coal plants, all these places would be the principal agents of Bitcoin production. But it's not. It's the intersection of the ability to compute hashes with the power that can propel that.
Okay.
So that is the principal backstop of value. It's this strange intersection and this strange loop of finding hashes that meet the appropriate measurements in order to advance the blockchain, reaping a reward, and then the competition that's set up between people. And this game is the fundamental value of Bitcoin.
I don't agree.
What's the problem?
I think what sets the value is demand. I think demand sets value, and then the process you're talking about is how to mine it. For example, for iron ore, it's not that mining sets the value, it's that the demand for iron sets the value, and then people speculate, can I make a profit by mining this? And then they do. So I think you got it backwards, in my opinion.
Demand is just one half of the equation, brother. Demand is just one half of the equation. The magic happens when you have the intersection of demand and supply, just like you do with electricity and hashing power. Utility, that's right. An autonomous system, which has its own governance and execution of value, which can happen at a relatively or trust minimized way. Lessens the need for bureaucrats, lessens the need for regulatory overhead, increases the autonomy of the cryptographic system. It brings something unique, definitely unique than something like a private blockchain would bring to, which has, again, regulatory overhead, the need for trusting a centralized authority to select validators, and then the bigger problem, which is the Red Queen's race. How do you maintain, how do you fight against corruption? That's a huge issue. It's very difficult to overcome.
I have some, I
keep going. I love it.
Those are all properties that may increase demand for the underlying asset. I just don't necessarily see how that contributes to saying that the intersection between supply and demand is what creates value, which then legitimizes your argument that hashing power plus electricity sets the value of the underlying asset. I guess I'm just saying I'm not following. I'm really sorry.
No, don't be sorry. No, it's important. So how do we bridge that? Obviously, there's like a similarity in the analogy, but if we could find a way to make the
Be back in 2 minutes. Just don't talk to me.
If we can find a way to bring out why those two analogies can intersect, then we'll make a lot of ground here. So the supply. So you're suggesting that demand drives the price of anything, which absolutely I agree. If you don't have any demand for anything, there's no need for it.
And if also there's no way to actually get it, there won't be a demand for it. So it's like supply has some function in that as well, right? Like if it's absolutely unattainable, like people won't think to demand it. So like we agree on that point, but like we still have to create a model where both the supply and the demand part. I think you've provided some on the supply. I've provided some on the demand, but we haven't created like a hybrid model that has the whole picture. I think that's what I'm kind of missing.
It's an ambitious development for sure.
Is the approach proper? Should we do another approach?
It is proper. It's just
okay.
It might be out of the scope of this discussion in the sense of
that's fair. That's fair.
No, and I love this. This is the part of the hard problems of discussing fundamentals of why things are valued at all. And there's a lot of people who have differing opinions over time that is money just a social construct? What is a storage of value? What is a medium of exchange? What is a unit of account? What is money? I've personally turned to Nick Szabo a lot for his work on the exploration of the emergence of money. Some people have claimed that money has emerged just because it was needed for taxes, right? Like that would be a huge demand, right? Like bootstrapping demand. Like you have this authority backed by force, right? The ability to enforce its actions, representing the people, like by some king or some government, and they say, look, you have to pay us our tithe in this currency. And if not, we're going to come take your crops or, whatever.
I think my response to that is I don't think it's the whole picture because...
Agreed, 100%. Go ahead. Keep going.
I was just going to say that it solves a government problem, but doesn't solve a merchant or an individual problem. So in that case, in that kind of model, I think the individual merchant or the individual person would just very grudgingly use it in peer-to-peer, but only use it when he has to pay his taxes. But I don't think that's the case. I think they're very happy to use it peer-to-peer because it generated some value for them. It saved them the need to bring heavy crops or having to chop stuff down to chop gold down on the scale or something to get the proper amount of exchange. So I think the generation of money might have initially been taxes, but the continued use of it and the fact that we're using it now, I think it's because it provided genuine value to people outside of government as well.
John, that was such a wonderful explanation of why it's an insufficient I guess origin story for money.
Yeah.
Because it's exactly right. There's a coordination issue here that money helps solve that occurred and way before any government decided, we're going to use this for taxes.
Agreed.
And that's kind of what Szabo gets at. Like the story that the money is a result of taxation is it doesn't go back far enough. I'm going to link one of the most relevant articles of his, which is I think it's about collectibles. Oh, it's called Shelling Out. That's right. So I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve here. Obviously, I really enjoy the philosophy that underpins Bitcoin, and this is one of the seminal documents of that. And so go check it out. goes into a lot of different examples of how proto monies have emerged. And one of the more interesting examples that I've come across, John, are you familiar with Rye blocks?
Oh, you have no idea. I am familiar.
Yeah, awesome. Do you know why it was called Rye blocks to begin with?
I think it had something to do with like lightning. Rye was lightning in Japanese. I don't know if that was a community spread thing or if that was the actuality, but
Dude,
that was something
I totally thought that was the origin as well. I 100% thought that was the origin, but I was kind of shocked to find out that that was not the.
Sorry.
Hi, Luke.
Hey guys.
No problem.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up the stream, but you guys can keep going in the chat. How's that sound?
Okay, sounds good.
Because I got to get off, so I'll wrap up the YouTube stream and the roundtable, and then you guys can just keep chatting in the chat. Cool?
Wait, cool.
All right. Well, thank you, John, especially for joining. Really appreciate it. Thank you for everyone else listening in. Thank you to everyone on the YouTube stream. We should be able to go again next week, although Luke may be going camping. Haven't told Ghost that yet, but might not be able to make it. So we'll see what happens.
Good on you, man. You should, definitely.
We got a cool week coming up with Quant, with their event. So yeah, take it easy and see you guys later. I'm gonna jump off the chat now. Just gonna end the stream. You guys